Hey, I'm Andrew with Omaha Outdoors, and this is the ZEV OZ9. This is part 2 of our video review. The first part, we left out a couple things. First of all, we left out disassembling the pistol, and second, we left out some of our traditional abuse testing. You'll see both of those in this video. For the full review, check out our other video. So, I didn't show you how to take this thing apart. It's a little different than a standard Glock, but also kind of similar. So, we start by, of course, clearing the pistol. Remove the magazine, check the chamber's clear. Check the chamber's clear again. Set it down, grab a non-alcoholic beverage. Because I put it down, I'm gonna check that it's unloaded one more time. Yep, it's clear. Okay, now I can disassemble it as I would a regular Glock by pulling the trigger. So, here we have our two parts, the slide assembly, and then of course the frame assembly. And that's just like a Glock. Unlike a Glock, I have already disassembled or removed the pin here from the other OZ9 frame that I have. Unlike a Glock, once you drift out this pin, you can, it's easier than it looks here, I promise. You can remove the grip module from the firearm itself. This is your serialized component. This is where your trigger is, your disconnector, all your standard Glock parts, and this is not a firearm. This can be purchased for a very reasonable price. You can get them in different colors. You could send one off for stippling, maybe have a smooth one for carry and a stippled one for competition. And because this is a firearm, you can easily change those out. So I really like that idea. I think this is super cool. Another thing is it's actually easier to access and replace parts on this, I think, than it is on a regular Glock, because it's all out here in the open. You can access it from angles that you wouldn't be able to access before. So I think that's super cool. Okay, abuse testing. Now in our last video, the abuse testing we did was to shoot the pistol 500 rounds as fast as I could with aluminum case ammo. And I had no malfunctions. That was with this, the second OZ9 that I was sent. And as you might be able to see from all the dirt falling out of these things, I started out with dirt testing. Now, I'm no longer in the same place that I was when I did our previous videos. So, the dirt is different. However, I came up with a test that will replicate the results of our previous test. I took some pistols that I knew would pass the first test and ran it through this test and they passed, and I took some pistols that I knew would not pass and ran them through and they did not pass. So, I feel confident in these results, and I put both OZ9s through the abuse testing, and they both had a lot of malfunctions. Well, they both had malfunctions. The newer OZ9 did better, even though the thing is filthy. It's got 2,500 rounds through it at a minimum, actually more like 2,700 at this point. I've been shooting it more since our last review. And then the first one had more malfunctions. Basically I had a dead trigger and it didn't want to go into battery. Second one, I didn't seem to have as many trigger issues. It was a dead trigger after I think the 4th round, but I got a few rounds off, but it just didn't want to go into battery. I could tell the slide was having a hard time moving. Now, these guns are dirty. I haven't lubricated them. I haven't been nice to them, but this is an abuse test. It's not, a coddle the pistol and then, hope it gets through. I do everything I possibly can to treat it poorly, and if it makes it through, that's amazing. If it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that maybe I wouldn't pick this up if I was going to go, roll around in the dirt and the mud in this configuration. I'm going to buy one of these pistols. I'll probably buy 2 actually. What I'm going to do is purchase just the chassis, the grip module here. Sorry, this is the grip module. I'm going to buy a couple chassis probably and get different grips, colors, all that sort of thing, because I like changing stuff out. And then I can use slides and barrels that I already have, because I have a bunch of those, or I could buy other ones if I want, so I can build the pistol exactly the way I like, and that's one of the coolest things about the OZ9. So for me, definitely going to buy a couple. I think the first one that I put together, I'm going to use like all stock Glock components. That might sound weird, but I'll use, obviously the ZEV grip, you have to use a ZEV grip and their chassis, but I'm going to use a Glock slide, barrel, trigger, everything, and I want to see how that works and how that shoots in comparison with this totally fancy ZEV. And I think that is a better option. If buying all the parts separately and building it yourself is a cheaper option, certainly, than buying the pistol all at once. If you can't afford to buy this gun tricked out as it is, it's certainly a lot easier to just buy the parts individually and go from there. As always, thanks for your time. I appreciate you watching our videos. If you have any comments, go ahead and leave them. If you have bad comments, I welcome those as well. I try to engage with people and answer any questions you might have. Thanks for watching and have a great day.